Hello, everypony. Um, I'm I've been making videos, but I haven't been posting them. So today's video is special because I'm going to post this one. Um, I don't edit my videos. I feel like it takes away the raw energy. If I mess up, I mess up. But yeah, so let's do this. So today's subject is something that I'm very passionate about. Why people aren't funny anymore, and how the internet has ruined most jokes. Please ignore my dogs while I continue this session of the video. It's a great time for them to start barking. But essentially, what I want to talk about is... Hold on. Don't break my rule. I just paused the video on my camera, okay? I'm not cutting anything. I just waited around. You can still hear my dogs barking, but they're not going to stop barking. So, why people love to ruin jokes these days? If you're older, or if you're like me and you love looking at old internet, you understand that old internet was much easier to follow, which is why it's such an interesting subject to revel in. For example, there was just jokes that would just last for years, and nobody ever got tired of it. One example is something that I want to, like, the general population would know, is Rickrolling. Of course, people would get annoyed, but it was still a sort of, like, community joke. Rickrolling isn't as common anymore because the way that it would be done isn't accessible, if that makes sense. But essentially, Rickrolling lasted for so long and it didn't die. The only reason that it technically died now, I mean, people still use it from time to time, is that it simply wasn't, it's not able to be used the same way it was. But it was never to the point where it was overdone, where everyone was kind of like, oh my god. I guarantee some people were annoyed, but it wasn't to that extent. But nowadays, a meme gets popular, and then people decide to run it to the ground until it's dust, until it's nothing more than just crumbs of what it originally was. Now, one meme in particular, thankfully, it has now died. In the week span that I've had this, subject racking around in my brain, it's already dead. But do you remember going on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, anything, and you see that meme where it was like just a bunch of buzzwords. So like, this 97-year-old diner still serves Coke the old-fashioned way, rose toy, bussy squirt, insert a bunch of other just buzzwords, and people would laugh their ass off in the comment section saying like, oh my god, you have to be so elite and chronically online to get this. You don't have to be chronically online, you just have to be on Twitter. People equate being chronically online with being on Twitter. I mean, Twitter is a pretty, deranged app, but it does not necessarily mean you're chronically online. I feel like any person who's on Twitter would understand that that's what that meme was. It was, if you don't know, essentially what happened is Elon Musk. It's a long story. Let me actually explain the whole story. So Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter, he said, "Hey, do you want to buy a blue check mark?" And people were like, "Why the hell would I buy a blue check mark? It's $12 a month. It's useless. It serves no purpose. It's just for aesthetic reasons." And Elon Musk was like, "Oh, what can I do to make people give me money? How about I give them money?" So he said, if you had like 10,000 followers, if you had a certain amount of engagements, which is the most important part, and if you also were subscribed to Twitter Blue, you could get paid for having engagements. And so people were like, holy fuck, I can make a career out of this. So they bought followers. They they would just engagement spam. And if you don't know, your check mark, if you reply to a post and you have a check mark, your reply gets above all the other commenters, repliers who don't have check marks. So you get more views when people click on it and they scroll and they're like, oh fuck, it's all just check marks, let me just get out. But if they saw your little, you know, post, stupid ass post, then that person would get money. And because of it, the replies are extremely. Hold on, my fucking laptop is dying. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? My laptop is dying. Let me pause this shit. Hold on. You guys believe me if I said my computer died? Because I'd be lying. It didn't die. It almost did. Anyways, so essentially, yeah, that's what he said. He's just like, hey, let me just ruin my app for the simple reason of getting subscribers and money and all that good jazz. So now that this cancer-ridden app is dominating the market, people decide, oh, let me just spend $11 a month. But if I post so much engagement on every popular post that is, then I get a bunch of money back. So they would post replies, be like, haha, so funny, haha, this, that. But they decided that, oh, videos get more engagements. So it could be a tweet about, like, oh, my grandma just passed away. And everyone in the replies are like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. And there'll be that one motherfucker with a check mark that's like, look at this cute ass puppy, blah blah blah. It's cancer. It's not nice. But what made that meme in particular so like out there is that it was posted so many times. This 97-year-old diner still serves Coke the old-fashioned way, and so people thought it was funny when normal people started posting it, and they would add their own spin to it. They'd be like, "This evil 97-year-old diner still serves Coke the evil way," and it's like the video's like in negative, and it's funny. Like at that point, it was funny because it was new. But then came the people who decided, oh, it would be funny to run the joke into the ground. So they would just post that and they would just spam it. And that's the issue with modern internet, is that you can't just let jokes be funny and just let them go off into the wind. They have to die with such a shame. I'm gonna like go into my vault of evil memories of old memes. Do you remember Yankee with no brim? Do you remember that old ass meme? Do you remember how it died? Because people thought it was cringe. It was just a funny little meme, and then people were like, okay, now you're saying it too much. I don't wanna associate with you. Another one is it's like, that shit was trash. You can't handle me. Hold up, ain't you Nathaniel B. It was funny because it was cringe. But people somehow they took that and they were like, let's run it to the fucking ground. And now it was just annoying to hear. And another thing is that it gets overplayed. It gets too overplayed to the point where you can't enjoy it. And don't even get me started on the worst part of this, like, ruining a meme is when it gets made into a song. That's like, it's over. Remember that little corn kid? And then that dude was like, that made that song. It's like, it's corn. And it's like, oh my god, dude. Who thinks it's funny? And they try doing it with every meme. Why does this happen? Why does this phenomenon happen? I have the answer, says me. It's the lack of attention spans. The internet has gotten huge over the past few years, even just within the past 5 years. It just keeps going up and up and up. And these younger generations are getting a hold of it. You know, back then, people who were on the internet, the main demographic was males in their like late teens, mid 20s, and even older. But like that's what it was. And these people like it wasn't the way it was now. There was much more of a community. So there was a little bit more accountability, if that makes sense. So if someone said something really unfunny, they would have like 5 different people calling them out and being like, hey dude, that's unfunny. Or when you're making a meme, people interact with that and they're like, oh, that's so funny, oh, like, dude, like, and they like it becomes a community. It was a very harsh community, I'll admit. There were some very dark sides of that internet, as there always will be, but it wasn't like the way it is now, where you're kind of just spewing into the void and hoping someone will grab it. I see attempts at viral videos, viral tweets, viral posts, everything, and it's a little laughable because it's just going straight into the void, and there's like they're trying to make the shot and they're missing and they're missing and they're missing. They want to make their mark, but they just can't. But how does that connect to making a joke unfunny, and how does it connect to the attention spans? Because the internet has gotten so big, there's less room for niches to be the way that they were back then than they are now. So if you had like a little niche, if you liked this anime, you would go on an anime forum. Nowadays, you like an anime, you follow a fan page for it, but that fan page is just one person. You're not really interacting in the same way you would. You could go on like Reddit. Obviously, that's like a little bit more, but even then, you're still spewing into a void, hoping someone's going to grab it. So when that happens, when that happens nowadays, it happens with memes. So there's this meme about insert character. And so I'm like, oh, I see it everywhere and it's getting popular. Let me just, and I throw it and it doesn't stick. And I keep trying and trying and trying. Imagine this thousands of times. That's what it's like, because all these people are trying to attempt the same thing, internet popularity. They're not really laughing about the meme anymore. I guarantee half of them just don't even understand it. So it's just trying to get something. And when you're on the internet, you're on your fucking phone, you're scrolling through, you see so many of the same thing, you just blink out. Like, it's like, what the fuck? And with that said, it connects to the low attention spans of people, is that they can't laugh at something because of it being funny. They have to like they need multiple things to laugh at. So back then you had, these memes that would just last forever, for years. But nowadays, we've had so much, like, technology is at our fingertips. We can do everything on our phones. The way these apps are designed are meant to have trends that die out super quickly. So TikTok is a big example of this. 15-second videos is the standard. They can be longer, they can be shorter, but 15 seconds is like usually the standard. So I'm thirsty. So yeah, these these apps are meant to weaken your attention span. And that connects to these memes because they're seeing these like memes over and over and over again. Their brains are fried. All right? They're by the third meme they're already tired. They're tired of the same stuff. So like they're just over it. And with that also, it's like it could have the opposite effect where they love it too much and they make more and more content. Then it just gets run into the ground. Or they're trying to make themselves seem special. They want to add some pizzazz to the meme. They want to look like they're different for liking this meme. But in the end, it's so over. We as a society have weakened our attention spans. And I participate in society. I know my attention span is bad. But that's not to say that I don't do things to try to improve it. Like now, talking to myself in my room, not looking at my phone, is a great way to help my attention span. But you, the viewer, should understand how important it is to. My fucking dogs are barking. To use your time wisely and to not use the internet as much, except when you're watching me. Just kidding. This video is for me and me only. But yeah, get off the internet and stop making jokes unfunny. When they reach their peak funniness, fucking just like retire them, put them in the closet. Make memes funny again. Bye, every pony!